Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 in Flux. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we talk about movies on this show. And in this episode, because of course coming in a couple of weeks' time is the new film Godzilla King of the Monsters, and because we've been working our way through the Japanese Godzillas, and don't worry, after this we'll be going back to working through those gradually. We did about 12 of those so far, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
10, 12, something in that range. But we'll go back to that soon, don't worry. But we are going to look at, right now, the 2014 US Godzilla film directed by Gareth Edwards. And we're going to look at it because the sequel's coming out soon. And it's been 5 years, so it'd been a while since I'd watched it. I watched it a few times in 2014.
I hadn't. I saw it once in the cinema, and then I was terrified that I would ruin the experience watching it again at home.
Well, that's interesting, because you had to do that.
well, because of the sound. And I didn't want to. It's hard to replicate that sound at home. And I thought, well, I need to leave it some time, and then I ended up leaving it 5 years.
Well, I do have a 5.1 system, and I can tell you that 5.1 track is beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's still nothing on listening to it in Dolby Atmos cinema.
The subwoofer was getting a workout tonight.
Yes,
is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Getting lots of infing, footsteps, pulsing, all that kind of thing. And of course the roar. But yeah, so we'll start spoiler free, as we always do. We'll give you warning before we go into spoilers in the middle somewhere, and that's what we'll do. So, Godzilla 2014 is a bit of a polarizing movie, if I can say that properly. It is a film where some people think there's not enough Godzilla, that it takes too long to get going, that the human characters are worthless, and then there's people who like it.
Yeah, there's people who are right.
Do you still like the movie?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, good. Positivity.
Yeah. I'm glad, because I've been a defender of this movie for years at this point. I was a little bit cautious that I wouldn't.
Joe, I really was thinking about halfway through this. I can see Connor hating this. I could see him coming out of this review and whining about Aaron Taylor Johnson and whining about like Act 1 things and whining.
Don't get me wrong. He is the worst part of the movie.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. There's definitely the human characters are the weakest part. You know, like they're not wired there. That's fair.
Yeah, that's par for the course for Godzilla movies, though.
That's true. That's true. You got all the way back. I do like this movie a lot. I think the last 30 minutes are nigh on perfect.
I agree with that.
The up until that last 30 minutes, there's some good stuff. There's some not so good stuff. There's some clunky elements that I especially was noticing this time. Just for an example here, and this is still spoiler free. There's a point in the film where our character, what's his name, Brody, is in Hawaii. He's on a train, monorail, and he ends up with this Asian kid who gets separated from his parents. And it's like it's a very clear cut moment. It's like, oh, it's to show that he's a nice guy because he's willing to try and help this kid because he's a stranger, but he's willing to be nice and try and help him get his way back to his parents. And the Muto's carnage happens, and then after that whole night sequence where everything that happens, the next day he's with the kid still, and he's walking into kind of like a survivors like sort of camp where people are like getting information and finding out where they can go, that sort of thing. And he's trying to talk to people in charge. They're saying, hey, I've got this kid, he's been separated from his parents. I thought, okay, so and I remember the first time, obviously not this time, but the first time I saw it, I thought, okay, the next part of the movie is going to be him kind of searching for these parents. That's going to be like kind of his driving force. And then the parents just literally show up.
And the kids run off to the parents. No thank you from the parents, inconsiderate. Just so rude.
Yes, so I think there's elements of this movie, especially in the first half, where I feel like a sort of patchwork effect, where it felt like we want him to have a kid that he has to save so that he can look like a hero, but we don't necessarily want to deal with the kid afterwards. So it's just, it felt very... Yeah.
It feels like that earlier on as well, when it just shifts focus to him. It feels like, oh, okay, sure, why not? So there's some clunky stuff interesting. I think there's also a weird thing where it somehow always ends up that he's involved again, and it feels like 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. It just happens to be where he is, or he happens to get called in upon to help with something, or... Well, no, that's the thing. He never really gets called in on. He just is...
No, it does once.
Volunteers himself, or once, yeah.
The last time he is called upon.
Yeah. But There was one point where I think it's on Hawaii just before before the train, and he's the army are walking past him, and he just goes, "Oh hey, yeah, I'm Navy. What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, all this. Hey, do you want to tag along with us?"
All right.
Like, yeah, no, asking for credentials, no, nothing. It's just like, yeah, hey, it's my name. Let's tag along.
Crisis time. It was just going on faith.
It seems pretty unprofessional.
Yeah, or even just that the Muto goes to Hawaii and he's in Hawaii. Even though, I mean, obviously it's close enough, and that's why he's also there. So I mean, it's not a million miles
There's
away.
a logical reason.
Yes, but it just just a little bit
convenient.
There's a lot of convenient things with him being in the right place or being involved over and over again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily do a whole lot to develop him or Elizabeth Olsen's character, who's his wife. In fact, she kind of just disappears after a certain point.
She gets shafted. I don't know why we spend as much time with her and the kid as we do, frankly, because nothing happens with them.
No. It's almost just like it's a disaster movie. There has to be a family for him to get back to.
Right, and I figured, okay, that's why we have, at the start of the movie he's with them and then he has to go off.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. I don't think there is any purpose to any of the scenes with the wife and kid after that point.
No, not beyond just sort of reacting to the news kind of thing. Because I assumed it was, again, the first time I saw it, I assumed it was building up to, like, she'd have her own plot throughout the third act. Like, there'd be her own carnage to deal with and her own kind of, like, escape. Because she's a nurse or a doctor, so she's
in a hospital. She's helping people.
Her skills are useful in the situation. She's got something to do. And of course, Brody's I can't remember the exact phrase they use, but he dismantles bombs, and I say bombs because that makes it sound like he just does like a bomb squad job. No, he's dismantling and disarming nukes. Like this is what he's doing.
Top tier.
Yeah, he's top of the class for that sort of thing. But so yeah, you can fault the human characters, but here's the thing with this movie, is I'm not here for them, and I think what this movie does is that it does a really neat thing where it's building up to like really properly revealing Godzilla, right, and some of the other like big elements, right, and how it teases them through. I think it's very effective. Some people found it frustrating. I think the slow build to finally getting your monstergasm, I think it's effective.
Me too. Yeah,
I still think it's effective, having seen it a few times now and seen it again years later. I think the other thing that's really effective here, and I guess this is mild spoiler territory, is that. But I think the fact that those other monsters kind of gives this away anyway. Is that not just making Godzilla the villain, right? Just not making him like the sole monster and the crisis is we need to survive Godzilla.
Yeah, which would be an easy thing to do.
Yeah. The 1988 movie, which we don't want to talk about yet. We'll do that someday. That's what that did.
Commitments.
The original Godzilla, of course, did that kind of thing as well. And I believe 84, 85, The Return of Godzilla did that as well. That was kind of the reboot. But this went down the path of there's monsters for him to fight, which means Godzilla, because we're the Godzilla, we're here, especially if you're a Godzilla fan, which, even when I first saw this, I'd seen a nice handful of them, so I would have considered myself one. I want to root for Godzilla. I want Godzilla to be the hero of the movie. And I want to be rolling my eyes at the humans, the military, the Navy, whoever, whenever they decide to try and like kill Godzilla too. I'm like, no, you idiots. He's your savior. He's your one chance. Yeah. So going with that mentality and watching it is like, no, Godzilla's my protagonist. He's the one that I'm rooting for. Like everything with that works. And then on top of that, I think you have great visuals. I think you have some great scenes. We'll talk a lot about that last act, I think, when we get into spoilers. Some of the shots of Godzilla are absolutely beautiful. And I think it handles a lot of things really well. But there's some clunky human stuff. There is stuff.
I think you're saying there about how you want to root for Godzilla.
Yeah,
I think this works just as effectively if, let's say, your only exposure to Godzilla for some reason is the '98 movie, right?
Oh sure, yeah.
In my case, it was just before this I'd only seen the original, right? So let's say you're expecting Godzilla to be the villain somehow, even when there are other monsters. You're still they're acting as if he's still a villain. I think it works in the movie going on that because it plays with that expectational movie. Like,
Sure.
you know, it's playing that up, that possibility, and then when he's not, it's kind of a fantastic moment.
Sure, yeah. I always like to joke after I saw this, because this was a year after Man of Steel came out. I always like to joke there's less destruction in this than Man of Steel, and it's not that this movie's lacking destruction, because it's not.
No, there's plenty.
There's a moment where Godzilla actively seems to try and avoid hitting a bridge. Like he's getting shot at by the army with like rockets and shit, and he actively kind of shields the bridge. And
I'm like, he stands up. You know, because the people on the bridge are like, hey, there's the civilians on here, and he just stands up. He's like, right, yeah, sorted.
Yeah, and he does walk through the bridge eventually, but he only does that once the army hit him with so goddamn much that.
Yeah.
I'm saying the army. I mean, it's mostly the Navy and the Air Force because they're out in the water. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so like Godzilla is he kind of root for him, because he does seem to be there's some collateral damage just because he's so big. Like he can't help necessarily crushing some cars and shit, obviously, but he does seem to care to some extent how much damage he's causing.
I think that's why, you know, that moment with the bridge when he stands up. I think what I like about that moment so much is that, you know, it's first time watching it. You're not sure if Godzilla is a villain or not. That moment plays either way still. Like, did he just happen to stand up? Was it just, you know, coincidence? Or was he choosing to get in the way?
Yeah.
It works.
No, it's good. It's good. So yeah, I think the build up. Obviously, I don't think the second movie can do the same thing. I think the second movie has to just hit the ground running with the Godzilla action. But I think for the first movie, I think the build up was great. But if anything, my only disappointment is that when it cuts to, and I'll talk about the shot that before it cuts to credits, because I really like that shot. I think my only disappointment is that when it cut to credits, it didn't go to the Godzilla theme, but the original dun 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 dun. You know, that'd have been perfect.
Would have been
perfect. But yeah, and as much as obviously we're ragging on maybe the main characters, I think some of the supporting cast are fine though. Ken Watanabe is there to, you know, be our scientist who tells us.
He's far more interesting than our lead, just because of his involvement with, you know, he knows about these things before.
He's also the one rooting for Godzilla. He's the one before anyone else says. He's like, no, let Godzilla do his thing. Like he's our only chance. He's the one saying that, and that's how we feel as the audience. So he's kind of a natural thing for us to latch onto, and then. On top of that, he he actually has the best line in the whole movie when the camera tracks in, because it's this big wide shot and it tracks right in. He's with is that Ashford from Expanse?
Oh, it might be.
I think it is. He's got a different voice in that, but I think that's because he does the accent on Expanse.
That might be why I never clocked.
Yeah, he does have the mustache here as well, which is maybe why you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the camera, you know, it tracks right into him up to a close up, and it ends with him saying, "Let them fight." You know, it's that moment, which they're using all the trailers, of course, because why wouldn't you? But
this movie had one of the best trailers in the past 15 years.
Had fantastic trailers.
The Halo drop with the Monolith music.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in spoilers, I think. But
boy.
Yeah, so I really like Godzilla 2014. Now, admittedly, I might have overrated it a little bit when I first saw it in 2014. I might have been a little bit in the hype mode.
What sort of score did you give it back in 2014?
I'll tell you at the end when I give it the score.
Okay.
I give it now.
All right.
But I'll tell you then.
No, I get that. I think I may have done a little bit. Well, I'm lowering it down probably at least half a point from where I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still a defender of the movie overall. Like I say, you know, the human characters, I don't give a shit. But I don't give a shit about the human characters in any of the Godzilla movies, really. So screw it.
No, I mean, I think maybe in the original you do. The original,
sure, in that one, but you know, in all the others, whatever. But like I say, it's not what I'm here for. It's the way it treats the monsters, the build, the tension. That's all there, and it's relatively tight. It's only just 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. Yeah, but there's no megalons, so I mean,
well, yeah,
it's a point docked.
Yeah,
I kid.
Maybe next time.
I hope not. So. Or actually, say Megalon. What I really meant was Jet Jaguar, who's in that movie. He's the friendly robot dude in that movie who just works for some reason.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was a bad movie. Was that the last one we did? I think it was the last one we did.
That was the last one we did.
Yeah. So we're gonna spoil the warning so we can talk about stuff. Because I want to talk about how it. I love how this movie incorporates kind of the timeline of the original movie a little bit.
And just the original.
Yeah, we find out about the history of it, and we say, oh no. Like, so basically, the theory is that when the first nuclear submarines went to like new depths in the water, that's what awoken some titans, right? These beings that feed on radiation, and all the what we thought were nuclear tests in 1954, right? I say what in the movie they thought were nuclear tests in 1954, you know, because Americans thought it was the Russians thought it was the Americans, kind of thing, was actually trying to kill Godzilla in 1954, which gives it this neat, like, okay, that's the year the original movie came out. That's a neat little touch, and I really like that.
I love that, you know, that history, you know, where it's all these old photos, and you know, and like, okay, tracking shots, and like, yeah, we know he's out there.
Yeah. I actually love the opening title sequence. It's all the redacted kind of style for the credits.
That is good, yeah.
And then like the old crappy footage of, like, you know, is that a Godzilla like scale? Is that a bit of a tail? Is that,
yeah,
you know, is it this? I like the mood that gives. It feels like it's homaging kind of the history of the character in its own way and keeping it in. So I like that a lot. Yeah, but a lot of what you like in this is that final 30 minutes. And there was actually, I can't believe, there was a moment I forgot about that I love.
Oh, really? Which moment?
It's the moment where Godzilla's in the cloud and you only see him when the lightning strikes.
Oh,
and it's the piano's playing. The piano's. It's right before he really starts fighting for the first time and we see it all.
So good.
It's such a beautiful moment. I mean, that the entire descent, the halo drop into San Francisco after the monsters have kind of made it their own. It feels like they're descending into hell. Like, it feels otherworldly.
Something else, isn't it?
Yeah, you got that monolith music playing as they're going, which, I mean, obviously that plays when we first see Godzilla full on. And again, talking about shots I love that there's two moments when Godzilla first appears in present day. There's two moments I love, two shots I love. One is after the tidal wave comes in, we get, like, you know, just glimpses that something big's moving. There's a shot where the camera's on one roof and it just sort of dashes across to some military who launch some flares. The camera then follows the flares up into the sky, and then they go across what appears to be Godzilla's chest. But he's so big that he's not fitting in the frame. It's just a wall of, like, you know, his skin.
Yeah.
And it just gives you this sense of how freaking huge he is. And then the second shot I love, which is the obvious one, is it's at the airport, the Muto's there, he's wrecking shit, and then the camera just pans across, and the foot comes in, and it's like, this thing is tiny compared to Godzilla.
You know, one of my favorite moments with the Mutos?
Mm-hmm.
It's the one where the one with the wings dives down into the water. Yeah. Fully spread out. I'm like, oh man, that is a gorgeous shot.
I remember when that was in one of the latest trailers. People were speculating, is that Rodan? Was that a quick Rodan shot? Like, you know, what's going on? Sequel, baby. Next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been looking forward to the new one for a while because, why wouldn't I be?
Well, you talk about good trailers. That first trailer they put out at Comic-Con last year was great.
Yeah. It's still the only trailer I've seen. I've been holding off.
That makes sense. I will say though, the newer trailer has some money shots so that.
Oh no! But I'm saving them.
I know. I get why, but there's money shots.
2 weeks at this point, I'm waiting for the big screen. But this has made me more excited. Going, okay, yes, I love the monster action in this stuff, and I cannot wait to get so much more of it.
Ghidorah.
Yes, it's gonna be so.
Oh my god. So no, the Senate Hell. It feels otherworldly. You got that monolith music. It feels like this is biblical. Something that.
Because that's the thing about the monolith music, you know, because obviously there's that association for anyone who's seen, you know, 2001, and it makes Godzilla this unknowable force, this ancient thing that you know is beyond comprehension.
Yeah. To put it into the context of the movie, at one point Ken Watanabe is describing. You know, these creatures, it's like, you know, there's an arrogance of man to think that we control nature and nature doesn't control us. This idea that nature has secrets we don't understand and it's beyond our comprehension, but like the monolith in 2001, and Godzilla is just this awe-inspiring, like, we can't comprehend who this is or where he came from. We just can't. He's that biblical. And, you know, so, like, all that stuff, because there's that great shot inside, it's the POV shot, you know, because there's the great wide shots, of course, as they're falling into the city. And then there's that POV shot from Brody where it's like Godzilla's there fighting a Muto, and you start up above him, and you just go down until you're underneath them looking up, and it's just this.
So good, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Do you know one of my favorite sequences from earlier in the movie? Before, it's pre the Godzilla stuff when it's just the Mutos. It's the army with the train, and you've got the two guys on the track.
Well, that's after the first Godzilla stuff. That's after Hawaii.
Oh yeah. No, I mean after before the proper Godzilla. Godzilla's just kind of chugging away in the water. Yeah. It's that stuff when it's the two guys, and they're on the tracks, and it's there, and it's walking over them, and they're lying down, and the tension there of is it going to turn around and just swat them basically.
No, it's real good. Obviously, they didn't reveal any of the trailers before this if Godzilla was going to have atomic breath, but of course he looks very Godzilla-like, right? So you were hoping for it. I was hoping for it.
Of course.
And I think the more because obviously in the final fight the idiot humans have they were trying to lure it with a nuke, and they actually armed it with a countdown. And
because of course they did.
Yeah, but then the Muto steals the nuke. It's in San Francisco. There's tons of people still like hidden underground in San Francisco. We can't let the nuke go off, so that's why they're going to get the nuke, and they're trying to get it out. And Brody like notices the nest and decides to we can't have dozens of these things, so I'm going to set them on fire and blow them up. And
reasonable plan. And
it's a neat moment as well because it actually is kind of what saves Godzilla, because the two Mutos are actually double teaming Godzilla, and you feel kind of sad for Godzilla. He's going down. It feels really it's hishy. And when Mama Muto comes over and she notices she's crying about what's happening, and she notices Brody, and it's like vengeance time. Mum's angry. And at this scene, like you just see the light, and then like and do you know what I love about it? It goes up Godzilla's back like a Tesla coil. That's the sound. It's like a that's what it sounds like. And because like obviously I've seen Godzilla use the atomic breath in all the old movies, and it's kind of cheesy, and he just kind of opens his mouth. I love that in this, because we've got these effects now. You feel his chest kind of like.
Swelling,
like he's about to exhale. It looks great.
The CG in this is actually kind of fantastic.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah,
it's held up well. I know. It's only 5 years, but 5 years is a long time in the CG world.
Honestly, actually, that moment in the train, there's a couple of shots in that train where they're just kind of standing there surrounded by like fog, and it looks kind of green screen to me. That's like one of the only times where the effects kind of stumbled, I think, for me. But yeah, no, like because later on, because at this point it feels like Brody and Godzilla are kind of tag teaming because they're both trying to like solve the problem. Brody gets to the boat and gets the thing going, and the boat can only leave because Godzilla kills the Mutos, so the EMP is not active anymore, and the boat can come back on, and that's what saves, and the nuke goes off down away from the city. But anyway, so there's a moment where Godzilla comes back in to save the day, and he grabs the big Muto. And he's going for the mouth, right? And I thought, he's going to do the King Kong thing. He's going to like rip the jaw. No. He coils up again and fires his atomic breath into his mouth until his head just rips off.
Yeah, the fact when he's just stood there with the head after, I'm like, oh god damn it, that was amazing.
It's beautiful. Because when he defeats the little Muto, he's so hurt from the fight. This is why it's kind of a comeback when he shows up. He kind of just falls into a building, and a building just drops on him. Like, you think he's screwed. You think he's done for. I mean, not really, because it's a Godzilla movie. You expect him to come back. But, like...
Well, sure, but it looks bad.
Yeah. And, he gets his hero's farewell at the end, and he walks off with it. Because I love that the final shot is, like, after he's went into the water, it's just the water sitting there still. Like, no, everything's been back to normal. He's dormant again.
Yeah. Until next time.
We have to talk about Bryan Cranston. Because I think one of the big disappointments a lot of people had when this movie came out is that Bryan Cranston is not around for the whole thing. Is that he's only there for Act 1.
Yeah, I'm always conflicted on this. In one side of things, I get it. Right?
Bryan Cranston's great. You wanted Bryan Cranston to be dealing with Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep in mind, this was like a year after Breaking Bad ended, so I believe there was a lot of jokes online about Heisenberg taking on Godzilla.
That sounds familiar, yeah. And this was, at peak Cranston for in public perception.
Yeah. Because again, right after Breaking Bad finished, he was on the top of the world.
Yeah. So no, I get why you want more of him. And I can see I see why it's disappointing, especially given that Brody is less interesting.
But in the movie, what would he have to do past that
No,
point?
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm like, yeah, yeah. What else do you do with him?
Because he's really, because he is much more interesting when he's around. Before, I love the mystery of getting into like the quarantine zone, and he's like, "There's no radiation here," and we find out later the reason for that is because the Muto's been sucking it all in. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
The Muto. But one of the positive side effects of all this is that he's making the area safe by eating all the radiation.
Yeah, because he sees the dogs run past him. He's like, that's weird. They look fine.
What's funny actually is that we just watched episode 1 of Chernobyl yesterday and reviewed that. So it was really weird, this opening section of the movie, given having watched Chernobyl.
Familiar, given we just watched it.
Yeah. Because for some reason, what's her face? Juliette Binoche is the wife who's only in the opening of the movie. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, she's got like 6 lines of dialogue.
Something like that. I mean, I get that's one of those clunky things is that they have to quickly make you try, at least in theory, care about the whole family, so you're sad when she dies, and it's just too quick. It's just too quick, and
I don't think there's basically no movie that pulls this off. When they okay, well you're dying in the first 5 minutes. Let's try and make you care. It's a big ask.
I think it's possible. I feel like I can't give any examples, but I feel
I'm sure it's possible, but I think it's very rare.
I think the big budget stuff tends to fail at it because it doesn't. Because I think you can introduce a character in a scene, make you care about a character in that scene, kill them by the end of the scene, and you'll be upset by it. I think you can do that, but I think you have to really devote the scene to that and have the right pacing for it. It has to be a longish scene for a start, but you have to give it the pacing so that you're with that character as they realize things. But the start of this movie is so quickly paced, right? So many blockbusters in their opening prologue scene are so quickly paced because they want to just get to the action, they want to get to the setup.
And I think for me, I disagree slightly with you when you say it's possible to do it in one scene. I think for me, it can have impact at the end of that scene. But usually when that happens, it's because okay, I'm with this character for 4 or 5 minutes, and then they're gone, and it's a shock, it's an impact. I don't necessarily care about them.
I think I'm not seeing the distinction between caring and actually feeling an impact. To me, feeling an impact is caring.
All right, for me, impact can be just down to the direction and the way the moment's played. It's almost the shock of it rather than actually any feeling.
I guess I would argue though, if the moment's making you feel impactful, then the moment itself is what's making you care. Regardless of how it's doing it, then that's what it. If you're feeling something, it's worked.
Plus, I think it's more shock than feeling though, most of the time.
So that is what it is. But yeah, because it's actually really interesting. I'm going into the quarantine zone, and you got this bit of mystery, and at least it's funny though because you get to the end of the movie, and it feels like it's such a different movie from what it started. It feels like it's went through such a journey in terms of what the movie's been doing. But no, I dig that last 30 minutes. Like, it feels otherworldly, and that's exactly what it should feel like.
Yeah,
it's great.
I am still horrified that this movie never won any awards for sound design, or at least sound mixing.
Yeah, sounds good. Godzilla, obviously, footsteps and stuff like that are great, but the roar,
the charging of the atomic breath, every sound is perfect in this movie. Like it is a juggernaut of sound design. This movie, and that's why I didn't really want to watch it at home, because even the best home cinema system that anyone really has, a standard consumer level, can't compete with a proper cinema. Just can't. And it was always why I was like, I don't really want to watch it at home. It was so good at the cinema. Of course, it's not as good, but 5 years have passed now, so it's bearable.
Oh dear. Yeah. Sally Hawkins is in this as well. I'm surprised she didn't want to suck Godzilla off by about halfway through, given Shape of Water.
Oh, This came first. She hadn't developed those feelings yet. And besides, Godzilla's more lizard than fish.
If she's into one, she can be into the other.
It can be, but I mean, no guarantee.
Like, I'm just saying, she will forever be the woman who screwed a fish.
Yeah.
That is her legacy now. That is her legacy. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, at least she'll be remembered.
Yeah, that was David Strathern. That was from Expanse. Okay. Yeah. I'm just glancing over the credits now.
I don't think I recognised him, but yeah, once you've said it, I'm like, oh yeah. I see it.
It wasn't just him I recognised actually. At one point, Captain Singh from The Flash is one of the one of the soldiers. I was like, oh shit, it's him.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, this came out the summer before The Flash started, so I wouldn't have known him then.
No, you wouldn't have done.
So it's always interesting.
That's how long it's taken to get this second movie. The Flash has gotten shit in that time.
Yeah, the Flash has been on for 5 seasons and gotten really, really shit.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna be so disappointed if this movie's not great.
Okay, the monsters. I'm feeling pretty confident.
I know I am too, which is why it'll be crushing if it's not.
Doherty, who's making it, he did Krampus, which I liked a lot. So
I never did see that. I did mean to though. I did like the look of it.
I'm between that, the great trailers, and much like the first movie, like the song choices for the trailers, both the first one and then the newest one that has the piano Somewhere Over the Rainbow cover.
Oh, I've not heard that.
Oh, it goes well.
I bet it does.
Really, really good. I guess we're in like a demonic version of Oz now because the world's all screwed up, and if that's how you want to analyze it, and 11's Dorothy.
Yeah.
And her dog is Godzilla.
It just sounds good for a trailer.
It does sound good for a trailer. Some people think hate the trope of like doing the moody cover in a trailer. I love it. I love getting all these moody covers of songs.
Yeah, there was one I saw last week, and it was a Linkin Park cover. I can't remember what the trailer was. It might have been a TV show.
I remember they had a Linkin Park cover in the Alita trailer, but that was a while ago.
No, it was a different one. It was literally like a week ago, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was, and that annoys me. But it was a great cover.
Yeah, no, because movie was terrible, The Gallows, but there was a great cover of Smell Like Teen Spirit in the trailer.
Oh, really?
Great cover.
Oh, nice.
So I'll keep...
I understand why some people are like, oh, I'm sick of this because it's just because it's a trend, right?
Mm.
But as trends go,
yeah, this is what I can get on board with.
Yeah, there's been far worse.
I'll take it.
This is better than the Zimmer horns because at least these sound different.
Oh sure, yeah, yeah. Well, again, that worked fine in Inception, though, because I was what did it first.
Sure, yeah. No, I have no problem with the original there. I mean, just everything then did it, and I'm like, yes, I get it.
Bum. Yeah, that was my.
I'm glad Godzilla didn't succumb to that, because I feel like it was such an easy one to place that onto in trailers.
I would forgive them though if they did the same technique but with like a siren, as if it's like a warning system.
Yeah, you could play into it.
I would forgive them for that because a Titan's coming.
No, I think it's doable, and that's why I'm glad I didn't, because it would be a really easy choice to do it. I think what they have been doing with the music is such a counterpoint to what's on screen that it's more interesting.
Do you know what they're doing with the music? Because both Somewhere Over the Rainbow and I can't remember the name of the track. There was the first one, but it's really good. What they're both doing is they're taking this like giant monster fight movie and they're making it beautiful. They're saying there's beauty in this, in these Titans. There's beauty in this. And I think that's a really interesting take to use in your marketing, because it's like, no, on the beauty of this creature, he's magnificent. This is like seeing like a blue whale in the ocean. You're like, whoa, nature can do this. Like,
yeah. Talking of music, do we know who's scoring the one? Because I think this one is Desplat, right? And I really like this score.
It's not Desplat. I want to say, is it not Brian Tyler? who I do like actually.
It might be, but I like Tyler a lot, so I would be okay with that. No, it's not.
Who is it?
I remember this now. It's Bear McCreary.
Oh, it's Bear McCreary. You're right. It's Bear McCreary.
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that might be that's maybe a better choice than Desplat.
Bear McCreary, if you don't know what he's done in the past, has two notable things, at least from my point of view, is Battlestar Galactica, which had a phenomenal score over its 4 seasons. This is one that's well worth listening to. And then also, probably the weaker of the two, bizarrely, even though I love it, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but also has great music.
Yeah. I think the thing that is even more recent than those and is more applicable to this movie is his God of War soundtrack.
And bizarrely, he also did the score for the Angry Video Game Nerd movie.
Yeah. Look, let's keep this on topic here. But
was that off topic? It was an example.
Sure, but it was an irrelevant example. It has no meaning.
What? He was a fan of Angry Video Game Nerd, so he did the score for it. Like,
but it's got no meaning on this conversation. That's just trivia.
It's shown that he's a cool dude. All right, what do you want from me?
Better than that, but like his stuff with God of War, plays that the Titan effect. So, but it has a lot of somber moments to it, so I can see that playing really well for this.
Yeah. Does he incorporate the theme? That's the question.
I really hope so, especially now that we've got a significant handful of monsters.
Yeah, we got Ghidorah, we got Rodan, we got Mothra, and I like see. I don't need the original version, but see if he just gets in the dun. Like, if he can just sneak that into the tapestry, I'd be very pleased.
I do love it when rework the old themes and just put them in. They don't have to be the focus. They don't have to be the driving point of the new score, but just they're kind of there.
Yeah, unless you're Danny Elfman and it's Justice League, in which case you choose the worst possible moments to have the Superman theme play.
Well, that's just Danny Elfman in a nutshell.
The first time you hear the Superman theme in that movie is when he's evil.
Yeah. Just don't talk to me about that movie. This, for all its flaws, is so much of a better movie than that.
Oh, absolutely is. Absolutely is. I like watching this. I will watch this again. The last act is worth any clunky in the build up because I love that last act. Every part of the fight. I could
quite happily just watch the last half hour again right now.
And Joe, what's actually funny is I noticed that that classic shot, the let them fight moment, that is literally the shot before they're going to drop out the plane. Yeah. That is literally the moment that says we're entering Act 3. Have at it.
Let's do this.
And it's just it's thrilling from start to finish, and and I love that no one tries to shoot at Godzilla when he's leaving at the end. They're like, no, he's leaving. Just let him go. He saved the day.
Yeah, because there's when he's down on the ground, before he gets up and walks the water, he's down, and people are like, is he dead? And the music's all somber, and it's like, oh man, a Titan's down. And then he gets up, he walks up, and it's got the brass. It's a muted fanfare that goes as he walks into the water, and it's this great moment.
Yeah. So and it kind of sets up that in the sequel, they're like, shit, we got Ghidorah running around. We need Godzilla. We have to find Godzilla. God damn it! Where is he? Why is he not coming out to help us?
Yeah.
And then 11 will, I don't know, have a chat with him. Get him on board.
Yeah, I'm still expecting that all the human characters I'll be bored by in the next one.
So, the only bad thing about the second or the newest trailer is that there's a lot of one-liners kind of like sprinkled in. But I think part of that's the marketing because they just want to sprinkle them throughout, right? There's one that I really like because Bradley Whitford's in it, who I like a lot. There's a moment in the trailer for the new one where someone else in the scene goes, "Oh my god," and then he just goes, "Zilla." But Bradley Whitford pulls off the delivery though. Like, I kind of chuckled because
I'm gonna hate these moments. Not a fan of that.
It won't ruin it.
You've just lowered my excitement by a degree.
This will not ruin it for me. I'll take some cheesy one-liners from the humans. I'm okay with it.
It's disappointing to hear. Damn it, this is why I stay away from trailers.
Well, tough. You found that now. So that I guess that's a discussion about it. That was about 30 minutes of the movie, 10 minutes of sequel speculation and talk. We should rate Godzilla 2014 though.
Yeah, I'm still going higher than a lot of people would, I'm sure, with an 8. I certainly the tone and the foreboding, and then all the fire all pays off structurally in that sense. From the monster side of things, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it a solid 8. When it came out originally, I think I probably handed it a 9. That was probably a little bit too in the hype.
Generous. I think I gave it an 8.5, but
yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 8. Warts and all, I think this is a really great Godzilla movie, and this is, it's as someone who's now watched most of the Japanese Godzilla movies, this is better than a lot of them.
I think out of the ones that I've seen, which is the first 10 or 12, whatever it was, this is probably my second favorite Godzilla movie.
It's close to that. I mean, I think you're out all the ones. Well, I've seen a lot of them now, but it's been a while since I've seen the ones in the 90s and the 2000s. Like I've not seen. Those were a while ago, so I can't really say with any certainty.
I haven't got to what are considered some of the best ones yet.
But Mothra vs Godzilla and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and Invasion of the Astro Monster are all really good.
They are good. But I think this is a little bit better.
But hey, so there you go. That is Godzilla 2014. So obviously there'll be a review up for the new one when it hits. Not necessarily the same two people.
No, schedules maybe. I don't know. Is Matt going to see this one?
Actually, I haven't even spoke to him. I think he is. I assume he is. If not, something will happen. Don't worry. There's no way I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not talking about Kai of the Monsters in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, let us know what you think of the movie in the comments. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to get us on the Twitters, you can do that at mail_fuzz for channel updates. You can get us on Patreon, patreon.com/mailfuzztv. If you want to support us financially over there, you can do that for as little as $1 per month. You get some bonuses. You post some bonus episodes of certain shows. You get some stuff early. These 121 in Flux you get early. So you can go over and you can do that. If you're looking for other movie content from us, we have a couple of other movie shows that are worth checking out. We have a horror movie podcast called Screams After Midnight, and we have a sci-fi movie podcast called The Atomic Cinema Experiment. So you can check out both of those. There's audio feeds for both, of course. They're both on the YouTube channel. So have a look-see. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys. And remember, if you can get it, it's always good to have diplomatic immunity.